Now, first of all, getting pregnant wasn't easy for me. It actually took me 4 tries, I think 3 to 4 tries for me to actually get pregnant. I know there are about 8 billion people on earth, but trust me, getting pregnant is not as easy as everybody thinks it is. I always say that it is easier to get pregnant when you're not trying. But once you're trying, it gets difficult for some people, not everybody. So my husband and I got married in August of 2021. And before then, we already had the conversations of like when we want to have kids, and we were going to wait at least a year before we start trying to have kids. So I was like taking all the precautions that a woman would normally take to not get pregnant. But I'm from an African household. So after like immediately after we got married, we started getting the when are the babies coming from in-laws, my mom. My mom was telling me, "Oh girl, your eggs are gonna dry out. So you better start trying now because you never know." And mind you, I was 26 and she was telling me that my eggs are gonna dry out. So I started getting freaked out. And one thing about pregnancy, once you start getting worried, you're not gonna get pregnant. That's just one point that you need to you need to put it down, write that down. Once you start worrying, because there's like a lot of things that come into play for you to actually get pregnant. A lot of science behind it, a lot of natural hormone levels and everything that come together to actually make you conceive. It's like more complex than you can ever imagine. Yes, there's a lot of things that goes behind the scenes, and being worried, you don't want to be worried. That's like the worst. It's not good for you if you're trying to get pregnant. So I did have the conversation with my husband. I'm like, you know what? I'm starting to get really freaked out about this whole pregnancy thing. I think we shouldn't wait a year. We should better start now, better safe than sorry. Let's just start now and see how it goes. Now, I'm not a medical doctor. I'm just going to be telling you guys what actually worked for me as an individual, and how and everything that I did to actually get pregnant and actually conceive twins. So the first thing that I did was I ordered a kit online. There's like this online fertility test that you do. Oh my God, I forgot the name, but I'm going to put it on the screen. So I ordered that. You don't need to go to the hospital. So they send you like an at home kit where you have to poke your finger, put in your blood. You do your blood work by yourself. You just poke your finger like you're doing like a diabetes test or something. You poke your finger, you put your blood in a swab, you put it back in a bag, and then you ship it to them, and then they'll run the test for you. So when I did that and I shipped it to them, they did run the test, and it came back that I had low vitamin D. I had low, I think it's called AMH. I'm gonna put it down on the screen because that was 3 years ago. So like 2 years ago, 3 years ago. So I can't really remember. So when my results came back, so I think for the low AMH, it's something that says like tells you the quality of your eggs or the amount of eggs that you have left. Because when you're born, when a woman is born, you have a number of eggs that you have for your entire life. So each time you menstruate, you're releasing eggs, and the number decreases with age because we have to menstruate every month, and every month we release eggs, and those eggs are washed away if they're not being fertilized. So as you age, the number of those eggs reduce every year. So when it came back low vitamin D and low AMH, they were simply telling me that the number of eggs that I have left are not a lot for my age as a 26-year-old, which actually got me freaked out. I mean, I think a lot of people might get that result, but for my age, it wasn't something that was really normal. So that got me freaked out. And then they also told me that I had low vitamin D. So when that came back, I started doing research. I started Googling what kind of woman get pregnant if they have low AM. Like I was seeing everything online that was making me freaking out. And I just started worrying where I'm like, babe, I don't like these results. I know it's this, that, 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 that. So for the vitamin D, I started taking vitamin D supplements or whatever. But then my husband was like, "You took that test online. Let's, go to the hospital, go in person. You don't know what transpired between the time that you took your blood, and you don't know what transpired in shipping. Maybe something got in the way. So I would advise you to go to the hospital and get a proper test done." So that's what I did. So I went to see my OBGYN, and I told her my situation. I told her that I'm actually worried. I just want to, put my anxiety, I just want to bury my anxiety, do me this test, do the fertility test so I can be sure that I can be able to conceive, so that I can wait one year knowing that okay, my ovaries are working perfectly, everything is working fine. And that's what I did. So I went to go see my OBGYN. And I'll never forget what she told me. She told me that if you're trying to get pregnant, if you plan to get pregnant in the next 6 months or in the next year, I'll advise you to take prenatal vitamins. And that's something that I never knew. That's something that I've never seen anywhere or like online or whatever. At that time, there were really not enough women talking about, oh, take your prenatals. Yeah, I only saw taking prenatals were for women who were already pregnant. So that was something that I didn't know. So she told me, yeah, it's very, very, very beneficial for the growth of the baby if you start taking your prenatals 3 months before you actually conceive. It's going to help for their brain development. It's also going to help prepare your body, prepare all the hormones, everything that you need to actually conceive. And I didn't know that. So that was one advice that I took. And one thing that I did that I think really, really helped me conceiving. Okay, so after I spoke to my doctor, they did the they did the blood work, they ran all the tests, and then my results came back. So my results came back, the low AMH that I had the first time, it didn't come back low, it came back normal. And then I did have the low vitamin D deficiency, which I understand because I work 100% remotely. I never go outside to see the sun never gets on my skin, so I can understand why I'll have a low vitamin D. What I did was I went on Amazon and I ordered I just went on Amazon, like prenatals that have everything that a woman needs to conceive, or prenatals before conception, or prenatals that help for conception. That's what I did. So I went on Amazon, and then the one with the most reviews, that's the one that I bought. And when I tell you that when I started taking those vitamins, I saw a lot of changes in my body. Like before, I would get like my periods, I have very, very short periods. Like my cycle is a total of 22, 24 days. If it's like, and my period is always on point. Like I will get my period when my app tells me I'm getting my period this day, it comes that day. Like my periods were never irregular. The only thing that was kind of like off about my periods was that they were very short periods, you get. And my periods will only last 3 days. Like one day I bleed, second day I bleed, by the third day it's done. Like it's just like the little residue that we always have at the end of our period. So I was like, my friends always call me God's favorite because I only have 3 day periods. I never even get any pain, no period cramps, nothing. So when I started taking those prenatal vitamins, I noticed a lot of changes. So my periods were no longer 24 days. So my periods started lasting to about 30 days. So there was like a shift in my cycle, right? So I was like, oh, maybe my shorter periods were actually a problem because I know a regular day cycle is 28 to 30. So I was like, oh, maybe the pre vitamins are working. And also, I could also feel like a change in my mucus, a change is like, I mean, they were all positive changes, right? And I'm also going to let you guys know what prenatals I took. I always recommend it to my friends and everything. So that was the first thing that I did. So I started taking those prenatals. And then my husband also got tested. I made sure that he also got tested and he had everything also came back good for him. So we're good. But guess what? I still couldn't wrap my head around waiting a year because there were like a lot of people in my ear. Rita, you better try now. What are you waiting for? You're 26. You don't want to have your kids when you're older. It's better to just have them now and forget. So it messed up everything that we planned with my husband, and it kind of also a little bit, it affected our relationship a little bit because I kept pushing him. I'm like, let's just start trying. Let's just start trying. Let's just start trying. And then I pushed until he finally gave in and said, okay, cool, let's start trying. So that was like 2 months. So we got married August of 2021, August, September, October. I think I started trying around November. And I started taking my prenatals November, no, September. And then that was 1 month. And then I started trying in November, right? So I tried the first time, right? I didn't take any precautions. I knew when I was ovulating, but I didn't do any ovulation test or anything like that. So I took the I waited for when I was ovulating, and then we did have intercourse. And then how you're waiting for your period not to come. You get what I'm saying? And guess what? Yeah, my period came, and that was like the most devastating. You know how when your period comes and I mean, sometimes you get, if you're not trying to get pregnant, your period comes, you're happy, right? But when you're trying to get pregnant, when you see that blood, it's like your whole world is crushing. Like I can't even begin to imagine what women who have been trying to conceive for like a year, two, three. I can't even imagine what they're going through, because just like the three times that I saw my period, it was like kill me now. It was just so gut wrenching. It was just so depressing. I can't even explain that feeling. So after we tried the first time, my period came and I was so devastated. I'm like, okay, yeah, this is my own punishment. This is how I get to pay for all the sins that I committed while growing up or whatever. I was just saying things. I'm like, okay, yeah, okay. So my husband was like, you're worried. We just tried once. Like, give yourself time. You get what I'm saying? So I'm like, okay. So now for the second time was in, because I tried November. The second time was in December. So I tried again in December. Guess what? My period came. I think that was like right before Christmas. My period came. I was like, it just ruined like my whole Christmas. I'm like, what is happening? So I started panicking. I started doing a lot of research. I will Google, and let me tell you, Google can be your best and your worst friend. I was Googling everything under the sun. And the thing is that Google will never tell you something nice or something good or don't worry. Nope. Google will only show you the things that will make you worry. I even had to join I joined Facebook groups. There's this one called the Low AMH because I had it like the first test that I had that. So I joined that group. I joined trying to conceive group. Like I was just joining Facebook groups. Like I'd only been trying for 2 months, but when I tell you I was stressed, I was so stressed. And my friends and family, they didn't even know that that's what because I'm very good at hiding. Like I like to keep my troubles to myself. So a lot of people couldn't even tell that I was going through, I wouldn't say I was depressed, but it was something that was at the top of my mind that I would think about every day. So I tried the second time and nothing happened. Girl, I booked a trip, not a trip. I booked, I called my OBGYN and I booked an appointment. I'm like, we have to do something. So I go there and she's like, we've already run the test and everything looks good. I don't think you should worry. And then she's like, you know what, a lot of couples, we make sure that couples try for at least 6 months before we start doing any other test. So I think you should still try for 6 months. And if you don't get pregnant, come and see me. That's what she told me. And then I'll advise you, if you're trying to get pregnant and you're not able to get pregnant the first time, go to the doctor. Don't wait 6 months, because you can wait 6 months and then you're just adding more time to your trying to conceive journey. So if you go to the doctor and the doctor asks you how long have you been trying, tell them 6 months. Because if you tell them you've only tried once, they're gonna send you away. These doctors, they don't have time to deal with people with, they consider it minor problems. So they'll rather, attend to the people that have been trying for a year. So they'll just tell you, they'll just wrap it. Oh, go home and keep trying. So when I went there, they told me you have to try for at least 6 months to a year before you come back. I'm like, damn it. And then she was like, you don't have to worry. Just continue with the prenatals that I told you to take. I also told her that, yeah, I've seen changes after taking those prenatals. My periods are now 30 days long and blah, blah, blah. She said, yeah, it's actually working. She said, you don't have to worry. She told me worrying is only going to make matters worse. So I was like, okay, let's go. I came back now and I was like, there were so many things that I was googling to do. There was like, I also okay. Before I forget, I confided in one of my friends, and I told her like, this is what is going on. That was like after trying 2 times, I even started crying. I was like, maybe I'm not meant to have kids or whatever. Like the thoughts that the devil will put in your mind when you're trying to conceive is like it's crazy. So I was just like, bringing myself down, telling myself, like, imagining like the worst possible scenarios and stuff like that. And then, like, the snarky comments that people will make when they see you in public, they'll look at your stomach, they'll try to touch your stomach because, like, in our culture, after marriage comes kids. So when you're married and like, girl, like, even after a month, people start looking at your stomach. Like, it takes 9 months for a baby to grow. Why are you looking at my stomach after a month? You get what I'm saying? So those are the kind of things that will make you worry more and will make you feel like, oh, people are looking at you a certain way, because it's like this stigma when you're not able to conceive. There's a stigma that is like everybody's looking at you like you're barren or something. So it gets into your head and it makes you more and more depressed. So that is exactly what I was going through. Okay, another thing that my doctor told me was that I should get the ovulation strips. She did tell me don't get anything expensive. Don't get like the clear blue people that they'll sell it for like $12. She said get like the $3, $4 ones from Amazon. You don't need to buy anything expensive because some people spend a lot of money on the clear, the digital one, which is just is the same as the regular ones. She told me get that because maybe you're just having intercourse on the wrong days. You need to make sure that the days that you're having intercourse are the days that you're actually ovulating, right? So the third time that I tried, I think that was it ending December or January, the beginning of January or something. So that was the third time. So the third time I actually tested my ovulation. So it's like the ovulation strips. You pee on it and it tells you if you're ovulating at that time, if you're at your peak ovulation or if you're not ovulating. So that's one of the things that I did. I actually tested my ovulation, and that month I saw that I was at my peak. I even had sex before my peak, during my peak, and after my peak. I was like, I gotta get this thing right. No, no, no. Actually, I did not. I had sex only during my peak. It was the fourth time that I did. Okay, so I did all of that, and guess what? My period showed up. That was the third time. My period showed up smiling, looking at me like, "Hi, bestie, I'm here." When I tell you, and I think I saw my period when I was taking a shower. And guys, I don't know if there's anybody watching who is actually trying to conceive. If you're watching that and you're actually trying to conceive, I think you understand what I'm saying when I say that when your period comes, it's like the worst thing ever. And I think I was taking a shower when it happened. I was like, what the hell? And I was one of these people where um during my trying to conceive journey, I wasn't taking like you know how people would take pregnancy tests like 6 days before their period. No, I wasn't that. I was just like, I will know if I'm pregnant if I miss my period. So I always wait for me to miss my period before I take the pregnancy test. So I wasn't that person that would take a couple of like 10 pregnancy tests before they miss their period just to know. Like, I was patient enough to wait because I'm just like, you know what? If I miss my period, then I know that I'm pregnant. You get what I'm saying? So, third time I tried, guess what? Period showed up. Girl, when I tell you that I cried in the bathroom that day. Like, I think I was taking a shower when it happened and I just saw the blood. I'm like, oh my God, not again. I'm like, not again. And then like it was actually like getting me so depressed that even at home, like with my husband, I wasn't even being like, I was just like, I was having sex just to get pregnant. It wasn't about like enjoying it or anything like that. And mind you, this was only three times of me trying, and I was that paranoid. Like, I'm like, if I'm having sex with you, my husband's like, it's like, you only want me for a child. It's like, you don't even like, you just want to have sex to have a child. I'm like, duh. What else? Yeah. So, where was I? Where was I? I got sidetracked. Yeah, the third time. So the third time my period came, I was devastated. I cried. I even like, I don't know. I think I don't know if I spoke to my mom, but yeah, I was so devastated. I was like, oh my God, this is the third time this is happening. This is how. And then you go on TikTok because I love the TikTok community because you always find your people. When I go on TikTok, I see especially Americans, Caucasians, they really don't care. They don't really have that trying to conceive stigma. So a lot of them will create pages and they'll come on TikTok and they'll document their journeys. They'll tell you things that they did. Like, you always find that community on TikTok. So I'll go on TikTok and I'll see people who post videos. They'll be like, "Oh, I got my positive." So some of them will encourage you, and some of them will just bring you down. Blah 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 blah. So yeah. So also I did a lot of research. I did a lot of research. Some of them were bad, some of them were good. But there was this book that I actually bought. It's called It Starts with an Egg. I think anybody that's trying to conceive, please read that book because that book actually it made me understand, you know, trying to conceive. It made me understand a lot of things. How that there's a lot of factors that come into play before you can get pregnant, even like what you eat, your diet, the kind of toxins that you're exposed to. It plays a big role in you trying to. Yes, it's easier for some people, but for some people they need to take extra precautions in order to get pregnant, right? So yeah, I did it the third time and still nothing. I was almost like giving up. I know I sound really dramatic right now, but that's how I felt, and I think my feelings were valid at that time. And I don't care if you've been trying to get pregnant for a month and you're feeling sad, your feelings are valid because it's like when you want something so much and you're not able to get it, you're allowed to feel sad don't say, oh, because this person has been trying for a year, I've only been trying for a month, so my feelings are not valid. No, don't ever feel that way. So come the end of January, at that time I was like, okay, this time maybe I did something wrong. I bought the clear blue. At this time I was still taking my prenatals, right? I was still taking my prenatals. I was still like, eating healthy, trying to I stopped another thing I forgot to mention, I stopped alcohol 100%. I wasn't drinking alcohol anymore because I was like, I don't want anything that is going to reduce my chances to get pregnant, so I cut off alcohol. I even cut off, because if you read the book that I just recommended before, it starts with the egg. There's a lot of things that they'll tell you to do and not to do. So I followed all of those things by the book. When I tell you by the book, she was talking about eating from plastics. I stopped eating from plastic pans. I was only using, like, glass breakables. I wasn't using anything plastic. The microwave, I wasn't putting anything plastic in the microwave. It's not only about preparing your body to get pregnant, it's also about making sure that the egg that gets fertilized, which is your baby, is also a good and healthy egg. So that's what I was doing, even though and I could see that my overall health was at its best. You get what I'm saying? So I took all of these precautions, and then I just tried. And oh my God, how did I forget? I prayed. Oh my God. Prayer, number one. Even though I was taking all these precautions, I still held God to my heart. I prayed to God. I told God, this is my desire. I really want a baby. I want to have a baby. I wasn't even praying for like twins or anything. I just wanted a baby. You get what I'm saying? I fasted for like 3 days. I prayed about it. I also invited God. I'm like, God, may your will be done in my life. It was this the only thing I did differently this time was that I had sex um after my period, during my peak ovulation, after my peak before my peak ovulation, during my peak ovulation, after my peak ovulation, or like 2 days after that. Like, my husband was getting it every night. I was like, babe, we have this baby is coming this night, whether you like it or not, or whether whoever likes it or not. And that's what I did. And then, like I said, I always wait for my period, for me to miss my period. Then I'll know if I'm pregnant or not. But this time, I didn't even wait. I think my period was supposed to come the next day, and anxiety was just over the roof. I had a good feeling. At the same time, I was nervous. I was like, you know what? Let me just take a pregnancy test, and we'll just get this thing over with. If I'm not pregnant again, I'm just going to that doctor and telling her to start doing things on me. I don't care what they want to do. They should just start doing it, because I'm not waiting any longer. So I will never forget that day. Oh my God. I still have flashbacks of when that happened. So I woke up in the morning. I think I had ordered the test to be delivered, because I do have the Walmart thing where they deliver your groceries and everything up front in front of your house. So I think I'd ordered it the night before, or I think I ordered it that morning and did express, and they delivered it, I think, around 7 a.m. And I woke up that morning. It was on a weekend. I woke up that morning, and then I just like I woke up that morning and I took the test. I got into the bathroom. My husband was still sleeping. It was like very early in the morning. My husband was still sleeping. So I just took the test. I went to the bathroom. And like I said, this had started affecting our relationship, because I was always moody. I was because I was sad, and I wasn't really present because I was worried. I mean, he was being supportive, but I feel like I was just all over, my head was just all over the place, that I wasn't my 100% self. And if you're not your 100% self, you cannot really give happiness to another person, because you have to be 100% yourself to be able to give. So I just feel like it affected our relationship a little bit. So when I took the test, I came into the room. He was still sleeping. He didn't even know what was going on. I went into the bathroom, and I'll never forget that day. I took the test, I peed on it. And you know how they always tell you on the box, they'll tell you pee on the stick and then put it down and then wait like a minute or two before you can see. So immediately as I peed on the stick, I didn't even put it down. I just like held it like this and I was looking at it. I didn't put it down for some reason. So you know how when you pee on the stick, I don't know if you've ever taken a pregnancy test before, but when you pee on the stick, you see how the pee is going through from the strip to the test line to that. So if you see two lines, you know that you're pregnant. If you see just one line, but the thing is that the test line is the line that you see first, and then you see the pregnancy one. So as the line was going, I was seeing it happening. I didn't even sit it down. I just held it and I was seeing it happening. I saw the first line, And then I saw the second line. It was as clear as day. I was like, oh my god, I'm pregnant. I was looking at the test. I kept saying, oh my god, I'm pregnant. I'm pregnant. I'm pregnant. Like it was so like the lines were so bold. It wasn't like, oh, a faint line where I had to like squint to see it. No, it was like perfect bold lines. I couldn't even scream. I was so shocked. I kept saying, I guess I said, I can think that I said, I'm pregnant like 20 times. Like I was in shock. I was happy. I was everything, So I was like, oh my God, I'm pregnant. I'm pregnant. I'm pregnant. Oh my God, I'm pregnant. And then I was looking at it. I was like, I took a picture. I was looking at it. I was like, I think I was in that bathroom for like 30 minutes. And then after that, I just dropped to my knees because I had to thank God. I was like, God, I know this is your doing. No matter what I did, I know you had to have agreed in heaven that I should have this child. That's why I'm pregnant right now. I just started praising his name. I was glorifying his name. Yeah, my husband is he's a heavy sleeper, so he didn't even notice that. He didn't notice all the commotion I was going through in the bathroom. But I think our bathroom is pretty far from our room, so I was like just praising God. I was praying. I was just telling him, "Thank you, Father. Thank you, Lord. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you." And I didn't even know it was twins yet. I'm going to do another video and tell you guys how I found out that it was twins. It's a very it's an interesting story. I'll tell you. I'll do a series and I'll tell you guys how I found out that I was pregnant. Yeah. So so yeah, so I didn't tell my husband immediately that I was pregnant. I said I was gonna do like how the girlies will do like a cute video, set up, surprise, put like the test. That's what I planned to do, but I didn't think it through because I was like, so I kept the test, but then the wrap that the test came in, I put it in the trash. So I was just overall, I was in a good mood. I think I took a shower, and then I kept on looking at the picture, like how when you buy a new dress and you keep going to your closet to look at it, or you keep anticipating to wear that dress, so you have to go look at it every time. That's what I was doing. So I would take the test, I'll look at it, and if I was not close to the test, I'll take my phone and look at the picture that I took. I'm like, oh my God, I'm really pregnant. Oh my God, I could not believe it. So now my husband, he didn't even know what was happening, but he could tell that I was in a good mood. I was just smiling. I was just like, oh babe, what do you want for breakfast? I was like, oh my God, it's almost like the world, everything was in place. Like I was happy. So what I did was I took him, I was planning to do something probably the next day. I wanted to decorate and just tell him surprise, like a big reveal or whatever. So I think when he woke up, he went to the bathroom and he saw the pregnancy test wrap in the trash. I don't know what he was looking for in the trash, but he saw it. So he just came out of the bathroom. I think I was cleaning my own side of the vanity, and he came. He was like, "You took a pregnancy test? Are you pregnant?" I don't know. For some reason, he knew because I was just like, he could tell that there was a glow. He's like, "You're pregnant?" I'm like, "Yeah." Oh my God, he was so happy. He carried me. I feel like it was more of like, okay, I have my wife back. You get what I'm saying? Like I can't even, like I said, I've said this before. I can't imagine what people go through. People who are trying to conceive. Like it takes a toll on you. Like you're just so moody. So he could. It's more of like, okay, I'm happy that we're having a baby, but I'm also happy that I got my wife back. You get what I'm saying? So he like carried me up. He was turning out. We were so happy. We're like, oh, we're not gonna tell anybody yet till maybe about 3 or 4 months, and that's what we did. So yeah, so I know I don't want this video to be too long. So those are the things that I did extra to be able to conceive or to have twins. So I took my prenatals at least 3 months before I conceived. I cut alcohol off. I prayed, of course, I prayed. I also cut out plastics in my home. I ate healthy. I did my research. I tested my ovulation before I had sex just to make sure that I was ovulating and having sex on the right days. And I think, and for those who don't know, I was able to conceive twins because that particular month I did ovulate. I did release 2 eggs, and those both eggs got fertilized, which is my sweet Kyliyana and Karl. So my twins are not identical twins. I have boy girl twins, which are fraternal, which means I release 2 eggs on this because a woman naturally releases 1 egg every month. So that month I did release 2 eggs, and they all both got fertilized. So that's how I got my twins. I don't know if this video was actually beneficial to anybody out there. I don't know if you're trying to conceive or if you're trying to have a baby in future. I hope that my points or tips, I don't even know if I give points or tips, I was just telling you guys my experience. I hope you learn one thing or two, but my advice to any woman who is trying to conceive is that do not wait. If you like, if you try the first time, it doesn't work out the second time, go see your doctor. There's so many underlying diseases that we might have, not diseases or complications that we might have that we don't even know of. So in order to be on the right track, like I'll say, don't wait 6 months, a year, go get yourself checked. And also let's get your partner checked as well, because I know the focus is always on the woman, or the woman is the one who has problems. But sometimes, I mean, it's rare, but sometimes the man might be the problem. So also get your partners checked and make sure that all of you guys are healthy. And if you're not healthy, that there are a lot of resources out there, doctors, they're going to help you. There's IVF, there's IUI, there's so many other things that have been helping a lot of women conceive lately, or in this our modern medicine. Thanks to modern medicine, a lot of women have been trying to conceive through those methods. So I would say do not wait. And if you came across this video and you're not trying to conceive, you're just like watching, please do not make comments about people. Do not ask people when they're having babies. Do not touch people's stomachs. Do not look at people and say, oh, you got married, when are the kids coming? Because you never know what people are going through. Thank you for watching, and yeah, I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.